What's going on, y'all? Back with another video. And before y'all talk about me too bad, yes, I am laying down in the bed. I am tired. Every time I try to get a little nap, the phone rings. But I want to talk about, to be careful with these type of females. I'm not saying narcissistic females, but just be careful with the company you keep with certain females who carry these traits. And that is, number one, they're always talking about other people, especially other females. And they show like a jealous side of them. You know, they always need you to be a witness to what they claim they see in a person. And something my mama used to always tell me, find people out for yourself. Because you can't always go by what people tell you. They can have those feelings towards someone for their own personal reasons. So you can't just jump on that and just co-sign with everything they say. You have to be careful with dealing with people like that, because if they talk about people, to you, they're talking about you to other people. And backbiting and just keeping up a lot of mess, that's what these certain type of females do. And another thing is, when you find yourself on the receiving end of them, like they're always offering to buy you lunch or take you out shopping or something like that, and they don't have a reason why, but they just always choose you to do certain things for. It's only because that you're not giving them the supply that they feel entitled to. The reason why is because the supply that they want from you is the type of supply they see that you were giving to other people, and so they're jealous of your relationship, your friendship you had with other people. They probably even jealous of your relationship with your man, because they want that. If they could just have a little piece of you the way you give to other people, that will kind of fulfill their needs. And by you not doing that, they're not quite satisfied with just being in your company for a little while, unless they're offering you something. So just be careful of those type of females that they always want to offer you things, in return for your loyalty, because no one should have to buy your loyalty. If you are who you are, if you're a real person and you keep it real with everybody, and they know that, then there's no need for them to feel like they have to pine for you all the time. It just kind of goes to show that they have a hidden agenda behind everything that they do, with the intentions of just gaining you, just to say they got you. A lot of times that's how the females are when they're trying to make friends with other females. I hope I'm not confusing nobody, but a female who's always in the company of certain individuals, but they bringing back all this information back to you, and that's supposed to be their friend now, but they talking about these people like a dog. If it's anything that, it could just be just any old thing that you probably pissed them off about, and they don't even know it, or they just don't agree with you on. Trust me, they dragging you to the next person, and you won't even think that by the way they hoover you so much. By the way they love on you, you wouldn't think that they're speaking bad behind your back like that, but they are. And that's because that's just who they are. That's the type of person that they is. They just need to keep up mess and confusion because they're not happy, and so that kind of fulfills them. That gives them that high that they need when they're not getting it from you. um and they like to say things like, you know, what people don't understand is you don't care if you don't never talk to them again, because they notice how well you carry the no contact. They notice how well you can deal with it, and it doesn't bother you. So what they do is bring up things that they notice about you in a way, they don't like it, but they want you to think they're like, I'm feeling that. I really like that about you. And they don't like it. They're just saying it. They feel like that they're giving you a compliment. They hate the fact that you're this strong individual that they wish they can be. And because they're not as strong as you, you know, they just do things that makes them look really, really bad. And that's just talking behind people's back. So you just got to be careful with these type of females that they pretend like they want to be such a good friend. They sound fake and phony, like, hey, my friend, and just stuff like that. And they don't really feel their way about you. You can either just kind of, just deal with them from a distance, be limited with them, you know, or just cut them off completely. Sometimes you might even think, well, a person like this can only be, the closest thing to the enemy. You might want to even say, keep your enemies close, because I don't consider that a friend. I just consider it an associate. And you can choose to associate with that person for as long as you want. Because trust me, it's going to kill them when you just cut them off. I've done that before, just to see how, how well she was going to handle it. And she didn't handle it very well at all, because what she wanted to do is let everybody know that I'm a fool for things that she didn't agree with. Say, for instance, I talked to y'all about this before. I took on a job, you know, under the impression that I'm going to get paid a certain amount of money, because that was the promise. That was the promise. And I didn't get that full amount. I got half of it. And it was a temporary job. It was right at the beginning of, when the pandemic and everything started. But that wasn't my fault. I took on this job under the impression that they were going to keep a promise. So that's not my fault. The thing about it is this person, they're still offering these type of jobs, but it's more detailed and it straight up lets you know, hours may be cut. It just, you have to read the fine print to know that it's totally up to you. And because she can't stand the person, because she pretend like, oh, I'm just so mad at how she cut people short of their money back then. No one should ever work for her in the future. And I'm like, well, that's people's business. If that's what they want to do, people got to do what they got to do, to support themselves and stuff like that. Everybody don't have it like you, where they can just work when they want to because they got a husband who you taking care of everything because you sucking them dry and he don't know that he's with a narc. But anyway, everybody don't have it like that. And so it's like you just easily complain and criticize about other people's experience with something you didn't even get to experience. So why does it bother you if I am getting messed over? You just have to be careful with those females who love to bring up stuff over and over again. Trust me, they're telling you this because they want you to know how they really feel about you, you know, because it's really an injury that you don't really want them as a friend that they feel entitled to be. Again, I hope I'm not confusing y'all with this, but if I am, just, leave it down in the comments and I'll explain better. But I'm basically just saying, just be careful for that messy female associate. She may be a narcissist, she may not be. She may just be a toxic, miserable person. But from what I've known from my experience dealing with one, she's a narcissist. And I know this because I know other details about her life, and her behavior is just a pattern of toxic traits and abuse and a lot of backbiting and anger, like deep anger inside, just waiting to come out at the first chance of being rejected. It's like that's what I've witnessed this from this person. So that's why I'm just saying, they may be a narc and they may not be a narcissist. But stop making yourself available for people like that, because you don't owe them anything. You don't owe them yourself. If anything, you owe yourself nothing but peace. And you don't have to deal with stuff like that. And turn them down. Turn them down when they, just become obsessive with buying things for you. Because once they see that you're going to accept the first two gifts, they assume you're going to keep accepting things from them. Just turn them down. That's one of the narcissists' go-to tactics is, one of their number one things is to buy you things, hoover and love bombing. Females and males, just turn them down. Um, because you'll know that it's obsessive when they just start to pop up at you with random things, just random things, crazy stuff. Like, who's thinking about this? And you don't even really know how to receive it because you're like, oh, okay, well, thank you. Like, I don't even know when I'll be able to use this, but I guess I'll find some way to make use of it. But thank you. That just kind of goes to show just how random they are and desperate for supply, because they'll offer you pretty much anything. Um, yeah, that's all I want to just kind of talk about up in this video is just be careful for them females who um just always got something for you, whether it's miss because they need you to agree with them. I cannot stand those type of people that's always saying, they always need a witness. Am I lying? Am I lying? Ask this person, ask that person. And I'm like, why are you telling them to ask me? Stop trying to make me a part of this drama. I don't want to have nothing to do with it. I don't remember if any of this was taking place and I was anywhere around. I probably wasn't paying attention. I just wasn't that interested in whatever you have going on. So don't put me in it. I don't know. Stop trying to make me a witness. They love to use you as a witness, and when they see they can't really reserve your time, with all that, I'm gonna call you right back. Stay by the phone type foolishness. No, you're not. Um, or I'm gonna make a quick stop by your house. I got something for you. Just forcing their presence upon you. It's just like they're very bossy in that way, to where they just gotta have their way. Just don't allow yourself to be used by people like that. Cut them off. Let them know how you really feel. Even if you're a really nice person and stuff, it's okay to say no sometimes. That doesn't mean you're not nice because you say no. You know, you have that right to turn certain people away at whatever time you want to. You know, you don't owe them an explanation. Stop volunteering too much information. They don't need to know all that. Be private. Don't let them in on every single thing that's going on in your life, because trust me, they're keeping tabs on you. They don't need to know all that. And this goes for males and females. Just be careful of the information you share with people, when you're in the midst of that deep conversation, because they're waiting to get feedback from you. They need something to go on. They need something to hold on to. A lot of times, so they can just store it and throw it back in your face on mad day, or just at any time that they feel it benefit them to, kind of expose you, because they want to expose you for being a bad person. They're jealous of how much people love you, and they don't get that genuine love from people. That's why they got to put on an act and put on a fake little voice and all of that kind of stuff. And I consider myself having a deep voice. For a long time, I hated to talk because of the tone of my voice. But it's like, I am who I am. And, there's way more to me than my voice, that's going to stand out. And when I start to see myself in that way, I felt much better and I felt more comfortable with speaking, my speaking voice. I don't look at it like that no more. Like, ooh, you got a deep voice, you mean. Like, that's just one of the most stupidest things I have heard almost my entire life, just stuff like that, you know. Or you never smile, you mean. That's a resting face. That doesn't mean I mean. But anyway, leave your thoughts down below if you're familiar with a person like this. Um, and just be careful if you come into contact with people like this. And don't be afraid to turn them away. Tell them you don't want it. I'm good on that. Don't be afraid to let people know you don't want to be bothered. I'll catch up with you some other time. You know, because a person that can't handle rejection, it tells you a lot about them in the way that they respond to rejection. You know, and that is a form of rejection to a narcissist. When you don't want to be bothered, when you don't accept things from them, that's a form of rejection, and you kind of start to see them exposed. That side of them that just shows anger all the time. Like they always mad, but you start to see it come out when you tell them no. They always mad. Even this certain type of individual is always mad. Just always have something to complain and gripe about, even when things should be like things are going so well for this person, and they're still miserable and unhappy. So that just goes to show it doesn't even have nothing to do with the situation or the people around them. It has everything to do with them and who they are inside. So anyway, that's why I'm gonna end this video. Thank y'all for watching and talk to you soon.